All right, how we doing? The newsboys bringing us in, and now we've got more on friendship. I mean, it's unbelievable. I used to go to newsboys concerts back in the 80s with my friends. The Trenton War Memorial was where I saw many Christian concerts in youth group, and my friends were all going to a summer camp called Creation, which was a big, and still is, a big music festival. So a lot of good times with friends. I think it'd be great just to start out your Connect group by talking about some of those good times. Maybe from childhood, maybe from last week. But as we talk about friendship, you know, there's going to be a lot to learn from the Bible, but there's also a lot to share and understand from our experience. So would you go around the room and talk a little bit about great moments with friends, some of your highlights, maybe just one great memory from one of your friends, whether they were best friends in that inner circle or in the outer circle of friendship, or maybe even you have a story to share about an acquaintance. Then as you dive into, you know, think about last week's sermon, we looked at several challenges, big obstacles towards friendship. Number one was potential of money becoming a divisive measure in friendship. Number two was a look at strife and how it gets built up through dishonesty. So dishonesty in and of itself will produce strife. Of course, truth sets us free, quite the opposite. And then the third obstacle was gossip or rumor, even just sharing or repeating a matter. Those are all some pretty heavy topics, and you're welcome to weave those into your discussion. But to sit around the room and talk about a time when you've been hurt by a friend, that's a tall order. So if that's where your group wants to go, be more than welcome. But I encourage you to take another tact and to think about and to talk about not just the great moments with friends, but truly what's a quality of faithfulness that you want to see in a best friend. So we learned that a biblical word for loyalty is faithful. And if you could just draw your friend on a blank sheet of paper, what would that friend look like? What would they, characteristics would they have? And as you do that, then take a look at the biblical model that was mentioned on Sunday, which is David and Jonathan from 1 Samuel chapter 20. And maybe do a little compare, you know, the computer-generated best friend that you have, how does that look with the biblically generated best friend of David and Jonathan? And if you'd like to read chapter 20 as a group, that's great. Maybe you want to summarize it, or group leaders, you could have read it ahead of time and then come into the meeting with some thoughts. I've got 3 verses that stood out for me. The first is verse 4. Jonathan says to David, "Whatever you say, I will do for you." I thought that's a powerful statement from one friend to another. It's so open. It's so giving. It's very generous in its offer. It's whatever you need, that I'm ready to give to you. That sounds like an amazing quality of a best friend. Whatever you need, it's done. A second quality that comes up is in verse 17, where Jonathan makes David swear again by his own love for him. He renews that commitment to friendship, for he loved him as he loved his own soul. That Jonathan loved David like he loves his own soul. I mean, this is really should be echoing in our ear the words of Christ, who says, love your neighbor as yourself. Now, Jonathan saying, I love David, or the narrator's telling us the rationale for Jonathan's amazing character of openness is that he loves David just like he loves his own soul. You know, talk about love in terms of friendship. We're often prone to talk about love in terms of romantic relationship, marriage relationship, but what does love look like in friendship? What does it look like for a woman to love another woman as a friend? What does it look like for a man to love another man as a friend? You know, it's interesting topic that we don't usually mention, because it's like, wow, I'm friends with that guy. I don't love him. But this is where, in part, I think our misunderstanding of gender has gotten in the way, and so many have been prone towards some error, either by not loving or by taking love too far and crossing over into homosexual behaviors, because there's a misunderstanding of same-gender love one for another. So a third verse for you to consider as a great characteristic of friend is verse 23. As for the matter of which you and I have spoken, behold, the Lord is between you and me forever. So during the Sunday sermon, I referenced several songs from the 1980s which talked about friends being friends forever. And this is an instance where David uses and Jonathan use that same understanding, but not that their friendship will last forever, but that the Lord is in the middle of their friendship forever. It's the Lord who is the eternal bond of any relationship on earth. Again, we commonly think about forever, and we think about heaven, and we think about, oh, it would be great to do high fives in heaven. I don't know what heaven's going to be like. So I'm more interested in the role of the Lord, who is eternal, in our relationship, in our friendship here on earth. That'd be a great point of conversation. What role does the Lord play in your friendships here on earth? Is He the one guiding your friendship? Is He influencing your friendship? To what extent is the Lord informing you in your friendship? Have you invited Him into that friendship? So, as always, finish by talking about Christ. He's the great friend we're going to talk about on next Sunday, and He calls us friend. Pray to Him. Ask Him for help in your friendships. Ask Him to encourage your friendships, to build up the wonderful love that needs to be there. And then, of course, invite Him to be a closer friend to you and you to Him. So close in prayer one for another. Have a great week with your Connect group. And don't be afraid or embarrassed to talk about friends. Use it as an opportunity. Take a risk tonight and open up. Tell something that you maybe thought, oh, that's too guarded, I shouldn't say it. Trust in the Lord rather than your own understanding, and God's going to bless you. Have a great night. Sounds like third day on our way out. See you next week.